Obviously this week playing a very good football team at Cal, and I think going into the season, when you think about this football team, the thing I realized last year even, outstanding defense. The quarterback now is playing very well for them. They're starting to open up their offense a little bit more. But defense is the calling card. Head coach does a really good job. They've done a nice job of playing strong defense, and they've won some games that are impressive. To be quite honest, going down there in the SEC conference and winning a game like that is an impressive win for them. They're 4-0. They're the only undefeated team in the Pac-12. Says a lot about who they are. Really good on third downs, 32%. Red zone efficiency, 31% scoring. So they don't give up a lot of points at this point. 69 points. So that says a lot. They sack the quarterback. They get after the quarterback. They knock him down, sack him, do a pretty good job of putting pressure on their secondary because they feel like they've got one of the better secondaries in the country, and they do. They play well coordinated. They've played together for a while. So this will be a tough test for us. As I said, offensively, the quarterback is an athlete. Can make a lot of plays with his legs, and he's done that in the past. But now he's throwing the ball a lot better. He's starting to trust the offense, and it's kind of ironic. I never thought in my lifetime when I went to college there and then went to San Diego State that I'd actually be visiting these campuses again. And I've been back numerous times, but as a coach. It's kind of, the world is a circle. It is. I can remember a lot of great memories walking to that stadium as a player and playing with a pretty good football team. And so this was my first college I attended as a freshman back in 1972. Seems like it was just yesterday. And there's a lot of memories for me when I go up there and visit that campus. I've taken my daughters there and just kind of showed them where Dad first went to college, just to give them the spectrum of where their dad was before they were even born, and it's kind of interesting when you walk around that place. So this will be kind of interesting when I walk into that place now, being a coach. I can't believe it, to be quite honest. San Diego State was one thing. Now I'm going back to this place. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, Herm Hood, Rubino Devil's Digest. I know the offense showed a lot of encouraging signs from Michigan State game to the Colorado game, but it seems like they slowed down quite a bit in the second half. What did you see on film that was the stark difference between both halves?
Third downs, just couldn't convert third downs. And I think both teams, when you think about it, both offenses only scored 10 points in the second half. It finally became like defenses showed up finally, right? Because the first half it was like, I thought it was going to be Washington State against UCLA. And I didn't even see that game till after. And then I saw that score. I went, woo, that was a really fun game. But I think both defenses showed up the second half, and it just became a battle of third downs. And we got off the field a couple times, and we had an opportunity to convert a couple. We didn't do it. And that's what the game became all of a sudden. It became this high-scoring affair in the first half. And then the second half is 10 points by both teams. We just were on the short side of it.
Chris Carmen, Sun Nova Source. Herm, it seemed like you had some pretty decent success on first down, but second down, they ran the ball reasonably well.
Yeah.
And I know you guys were trying to make adjustments as you were going, and maybe that also curtailed some of your pass rush capability.
Yeah.
Can you just expand on what you saw throughout the game and adjustments?
Well, obviously, we're a team that we have a lot of movement up front to try to create one-on-one matchups and some ability to get to the quarterback. Also, when you do that, if you don't understand your gap responsibilities and you're in the wrong gap, you're not sound in the A and the B gaps, you get some leaky runs. And, at times they were leaky. One guy's hitting them, it might have been a defensive lineman, and we don't have the backer in place to finish it off, and it becomes 2-yard contact, but it's leaky, and now it leaks to 5 or 6. So that puts them in a lot of third and shorts, and that's what we were in for the most part. And then we got to settle down the second half, but the first half we struggled with that. And here again, they did a good job when we rushed 4. They blocked us, and I always say they block 5 guys. Sometimes they block 6, but still somebody's gonna get in a one-on-one, and somebody has to win. We never collapsed the pocket. And it was always clean for him. And that's when quarterbacks have a clean pocket, similar to what Jaden had a lot. right? And he had a clean pocket, and they can sit there and survey the field. It becomes very difficult at any level because these quarterbacks are good, and especially guys a senior, played a lot of football. And then we didn't contain the edge, and he slipped outside, and that made it even more work. That makes a really problem because now he made a couple first downs with his legs. You know, he gets another 5 or 6 yards, and now it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. It's hard to live that way, and so we got to do a better job. This quarterback has similar traits. I mean, he can run fast. I mean, he's an athlete, you know, can run, so we got to contain him.
Hi, Coach. Jessa
How are you?
Tedrick, 3TV Studios 5. How are you doing?
Good.
How does a loss help, or I guess kind of something along the lines with Jaden Daniels and just getting that loss, and how does that change your kind of his perspective and the other young freshmen as well, and just seeing how it feels to lose versus how it feels to win?
Well, so far after 3 games, we hadn't lost a game, so you never felt that. You never understood that. And I always say this, you know, when it's kind of like everything else. When you're winning, it's like a balloon, and you just keep expanding and expanding, and you feel good. You have all this energy, and then all of a sudden, it's not that the balloon gets popped. It's got a little leak, and now you got to try to fix it because you like the energy, you like all that, and going in today, and last night with the coaches because they were here late, you know, and it was like I told them like, hey, this is you're gonna be NFL coaches here tomorrow night. They said because you're gonna be here, so if you got to get a hotel room across the street, some of them did, go get a hotel room. You ain't going home because we got work, and so I think I made it a big emphasis today with the coaches. We got to provide the energy. Because they're kind of trying to figure it out, and lo and behold, we got on the practice field and they started going, and they got some enthusiasm going, and I think they're disappointed, which is a good sign. I mean, they're not like they're not sad, they're not like they're disappointed. You know, they had an opportunity to do something, and it got away from them. So now we get another opportunity.
Coach, it looked like you expanded your offense a little bit more this game, a little more throwing.
Yeah.
How much of that is a product of the opponent, and how much is Jaden being more comfortable with your offense?
Well, opponent has a lot to do with how you go into games, and we just felt that here again we could do some things in the passing game, and lo and behold, it worked out for us. But we still want to have balance, and I think we ran the ball okay. I mean, you know, it was okay. We had 108 yards rushing, but I think when you make big plays in the passing game, it gives you energy. It kind of lifts everybody up. Problem is, we made some, and they kept making some, and so it kind of became this game of, okay, we just scored, now let's slow them down, and then they just scored, and so it became one of those deals with the offense. I think it ignited them knowing, you know what, for 3 weeks, our defenses can help us in some games. We got to help them now. We got to, and that's good because that's what you want. That's what teams are about. You know, you go on with this plan every week, and you're hoping it comes to fruition. Against Michigan State, it did. It kind of played out the way we wanted to. This one was more for me going, this is not going to be 14-21. It's going to be in the high 20s, right? And I don't know, you've been in enough games where you get a feel of you as a coach. You have this gut feeling. Now, you don't ever tell a team that, but you got this feeling. You say, you know, this is going to be one of. Well, I didn't expect it to be 14 the time I turned my head around. I mean, I got a drink of water, and it's 14 again. I said, this is not good, right? I don't want it like this. But I think it became a game where our offense was pressed to say, we gotta do something now. We got to do something about this to keep the game back and, you know, get it in touch again.
Alex Simon, Croncat News.
Sure.
With a Friday night game and the quick turnaround, how does that kind of change what you guys have to do to get ready and kind of catch up to the kickoff on Friday night?
Well, you lose a day for coaches and for players. You know, for the players, they're used to having that day off and coming in and having a day and then going. Well, they had a day off and then they had to come to work. So you're short, and you got to deal with that. You know, and the league that I was involved in, you knew on your calendar if it was a quick turnaround, if it was a Thursday or a Monday, Sunday, you know, so you had already built that in, and I think the thing in that league is a little bit different. If you know the opponent and the staff has stayed in place, that's one of those summer projects that you're already doing, knowing we're going to hit this week in the season, and we're going to have to get ready for this. And we know who they are, and generally you don't travel. You know, you generally are at home, so that kind of helps you. The practices are similar like what we did today. It's a lot of pointing. You know, it's pointing. Okay, I got that guy and that guy because we don't have as many players you only have 60 players, and so that's a different league. So it's you don't really there's no pads that week at all. There's none. It's just, and the players kind of like that, but the practices are fast. Kind of what we try to do today with helmets. Now tomorrow we'll probably put some shells on, then we'll go back to helmets. But you lose a whole day in preparation, and it's more on the players in college than it is pros, because we only have them for a short time, only hours a day. NFL, them guys are there in the morning. We feed them breakfast. They're there. That's their job, and so they can stay longer. These guys have to do it on their own when they leave the facility.
Jeff Metcalf, Arizona Republic. You played all these close games last year and now this year. What are the biggest things that is going to help you get some separation so that there's a little bit easier way to win these games instead of going down to the last minute? Is it more of an experience thing or personnel?
I think both. Learning how to finish things off, and when you have a lead, build on the lead, and then defensively close them out. Don't relax. Don't like, oh, no, it's not. It's almost like against Michigan State when we went ahead. I'm looking at the sideline, and these young guys were all jumping around. I said, boys, they're not over. You actually got to go play defense now. There's time left on the clock. It's not like the game just ended. You got to have to play. And I think this is a whole nucleus of young guys, and they're like, what are you doing? I said, guys, relax. You got to go play, right? And so we were fortunate enough to get out of there. But now the thing I will say is that when you play close games, and to their credit, or when we're behind, there's no panic. I mean, this is like, the players are kind of like, we're okay, coach. We're going to find a way. And to their credit, they find a way to get back in the game. And that says something about who they are now. Because that's hard. When you're down or it's a struggle and you're not doing anything on one side of the ball, to find a way where you got to make some plays to get back in the game, they've been able to do that. So that's a positive for me. But yeah, I would like to extend it. I'm getting a little gray when you keep doing that, because you sit there and you go, come on, man, let's close the game out, but I lived it all last year, and I didn't want to live it this year, and I'm living it again. You just do. But that's ball. You just don't worry about it. Just hopefully we can learn from this.
Your receiver, Tony Capobianco with Sports Case. Sorry, I forgot that. Your receiver, Brandon Ayuk, is close to surpassing last year's statistics. How much has he improved over the past offense, and how much is his connection with Jaden, being a freshman and senior connection, improved to your quarterback's improvement? Well,
he has a veteran presence. He's played in games. I think Jaden leans on him at times when he wants to find the comfort zone, similar to what Manny did with Nikhil, because they got a relationship. And I think this has been building on the offseason. It was building in the spring. You could see it. You saw it in the summer when they would go out, and I'd see them out here, all by themselves. And I'm sitting in my office, and I look out the window, and they're on the field out here, and they're doing things, and they're talking. So that's a good thing, and I think you'll see more of that as this thing continues to build, especially with Jaden and these young receivers. And that's when you get good. And it's ironic you asked that question, because me and Jaden were on the field just talking about it today. I said, hey, man, here's what's got to happen now going forward. And he understands it. He gets it. I said, there's going to be a group of guys, these guys. And I said, we got some other ones coming too now. And I said, you got to get them all in the fold here, so we can keep building this thing. And I think the anticipation of that is we understand it, but you can't hurry it. It's a process, and it's hard, and it's cumbersome, and sometimes you fall down, you got to get back up, and that's what we're going to do.
Kirsten Susel, NBC Phoenix. There was sort of the topic of how would this young team respond to success? How would they then respond to their first loss? But you mentioned the coaching staff, the hotels. Saturday, you said, I might not go home. I just, want to watch the film and get over this. Can you talk more about how the coaching staff has responded and come together?
Very good, and it's good that we've been together for a year, because I think when you're with a staff, the read comes from the head coach. Like, what is the head coach going to do? And I think they've seen me when we've lost games. They've seen me when we won games. And you folks have seen that too. My personality doesn't change a whole lot. I'm a little bit more, right? But when we win, I'm like, okay, that's good too. It's almost, when you win, it's a relief, right? We won. And then you think about, but I mean, literally, when the game's over, I've moved on. I have flat moved on. I mean, when the loss comes, it's harder because now you look at it and you go, what did we do? What did I do? Did I do something in the game where I could have made a better decision or whatever? I look at me first. I always look at me. When we win, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm happy for those guys. But I actually move on. I just let it go, and I'm on to the next game. And that's how I've always functioned that way. When we lose, you take it harder. You know, you take it harder, and you feel for all the work that's been put in. You know, because you work so hard every week to try to win a game. And when you fall a little short, you're like, could I have done something? Maybe done something in practice. Could I have said something to another coach? I don't know. You know, that's what you think about. But then you gotta let it go. Because when you stand before them and your coaching staff, they're kind of getting the lead off how's the coach getting ready to react, right? And every coach reacts different. You have to be who you are, win, lose, or draw. But when they've been with you for a year, they kind of know this is what he's gonna do. He's gonna be, okay, I'm never up there, I'm never down there, I'm kind of right here. But I'm very competitive. And sometimes I think people take that like, oh, do I care? If I didn't care, I wouldn't be here. I'd be on television. If I didn't care, if I didn't like competing. So I like competing, I like it. It fuels me, it makes me like, I'm good, man, I'm good, I want to do this, you know. And when you don't want to do that anymore, you got to get out. You wasted your time, right? So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Chris Carmen, son of a source. Herm, is there any update on Cam Phillips? And then if he is going to miss any time, you have another freshman probably who will be stepping into that role. And
that'd be correct. If he misses time, there'll be another freshman. It'd be Willie Hartz. Willie Hartz. And he didn't practice today. He's a little sore. We'll see where he's at. It's not that he's out, but we try to, you know, bring him along. And that's short week hurts you too, you know, that way. So, but yeah, I mean, I was looking at today, the backup, every time I look at these backup guys, I said, hey, this another freshman. You know, and I looked at the other side of it, and me and Danny were talking about, I said, well, if Rashari goes down, I'm going. And I go, no. I go, yeah, we got another freshman. Okay. So they practice today, so get ready. Be home week for Willie. You know, he's from Pittsburgh, California, so he's going home, you know, so. Yeah, if he has to play, he's going to play. And he's played some, so if he has to play a lot and he has to start, so be it. Go start. Go play.
You went to Cal, you left, you came back. But it was the early 70s at Berkeley.
You don't want to give him the date. You don't want to age when you're being nice. Thanks. 1972.
Talk about what the atmosphere was like then.
Social movement was prominent. There was a part of America that had growing pains, and a lot of young people were inquisitive. It was not the norm for young people to have a platform where they could speak and ask questions, and you know, when you go there, and that's what drew me to there, and the fact that I could have went a lot of places coming out of high school. They recruited me when I was very young. They recruited me when I was a sophomore, actually, in high school. And the high school then was 10, 11, and 12. It wasn't 9, it was 10, 11, and 12th graders. And they started recruiting me then. And the first time I went to that campus, I thought, like, what is this place, right? Because you see all these different people, and you see, you know, they had People's Park. They had it all now. They had, the guys that walk through Sather Gate, and, you know, they get up on the plaza up there, and they free speech. There was always a free speech every day at 12 o'clock. You knew it, and you would just go there. I can remember sitting there, you know, with some of the guys and just listening to all these people talk about, you know, how they felt about whatever it was, and then that kind of drew me in, you know, because it was like this is different, because I'm hearing different voices from maybe voices I didn't hear when I was young, because my father was a military man, and there was an order in the Edwards household. There was an order, and you didn't step out the box, because that was Master Sergeant. You didn't step out of that box. Now, I was inquisitive, because I was always kind of like peeking over there, going, what is that? And then when I went there, my eyes were open, you know, and you're talking about 1972. I mean, it's, wow, was that long ago? But yeah, it was a long time ago. And it was just, it changed my life. It really did. It made me grow up very quickly and made me understand that, you know what? You're going to have to make a decision on some things in life right about now on what you want to become. Because there's a lot of different avenues. There's a lot of things out there that you can dabble in if you'd like. And you got to choose your road now, you know, and that was the first time I was away from home. Obviously, I wasn't that far away, 2 hours, but it felt like I was miles and miles away. And I think the greatest story about this one was my good friend Tony Dungy. You know, he went to Minnesota, and so about 4 or 5 years ago, he had some relatives that live in Oakland, and so Tony went over to the campus, and I'm working for the Worldwide Leader. He calls me up, and he goes, "You ain't gonna believe where I'm at right now." I said, "Where you at, TD?" He says, "I'm on the Cal campus." I said, "How you like it?" He says, "I can see why you went to this place. That's why you're crazy. You went to this place." Because it was like, how do you do this? And I said, it's different. It is. It's different. And I think you get it. You just get it, man. It's different. It just, people think outside the box. People will voice their opinions, whether it's right, wrong, or different. And for me, it was the perfect place. I mean, can you imagine as a freshman, one of the mandatory classes for all athletes was Harry Edwards. I mean, you had to go to his class. If you were an athlete, you attended his class. And I know Dr. Edwards from that day forward. I met him when I was a freshman, and I've known him ever since. But to sit in that man's room and to tell you about the civil rights movement and about athletes in sports, I mean, you know, he was involved in the 68 deal now. I mean, if you look at the history of this. And so to sit there and gain knowledge from so many guys, and from him especially, because, you know, he was, before I started playing, he was at College of San Jose State, and he was a professor there. And so it was quite interesting, to say the least, to go to school there. You know, so that's what I know about that place.
Coach, as a former defensive back at Cal, they have a defensive back there, Ashton Davis, who's getting some pretty good notoriety. What do you kind of see in him, and kind of as a former DB at Cal, do you take some pride in that?
There's been some guys that come out of there. He's a good player, number 24, I believe his number is. Yeah, he's a good player. He has great eyes, anticipation. I'm going to tell him in the warm-ups probably, I said, you know, my record is still in that book if you'd like to break it. It's still sitting there. 4 interceptions in 1 game against Washington State. Charlie Peck was the quarterback. First one was for a touchdown. And I said, it still sits in the books. No one's broke that yet. So I'm going to tell him, you can go ahead and get it because it's sitting there. Go ahead and get it if you want. Not today. Not today. Nah, not today. Don't do it on us, man. Do it on somebody else, you know. So it's kind of interesting. You know, you never know. That's life. You know, you go places and you say, okay, you know, and you never know when that's happening that it would last that long. But I had a pretty good idea. It'd be there for a while. You know, it'd be there for a while, so we'll see.
Anyone else?
You guys didn't know that, did you? You didn't know that fact.
Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.